What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I'm joined by Jada and Tastic for some Xenoverse 2 talk. Now, before we start, just a couple things clear. Xenoverse 2 has not been announced yet. It's most likely going to be the next game. We're just kind of waiting for news around that, but there's no confirmation on the game right now. Everything you see online, on YouTube, these videos, these feedback videos, are all for feedback. And this might not just be for Xenoverse 2, it could be for the next Dragon Ball game. Now, today what I decided to do is I compiled a list of characters that have been missing, as well as new characters who have not been in the previous Dragon Ball games, recent ones that is. I mean, obviously Tenkaichi 3 had all of them, Rage Blast had a bunch of these guys, but since Battle Z and Ultra Tenkaichi and Xenoverse, a lot of these characters have been missing. So what I decided to do was toss them all into one giant straw poll, and you guys only get one vote. So what I need everybody to do is, I'm talking about everybody to watch this video. If this video gets 100,000 views, then it needs to be 100,000 votes in that poll. Everybody needs to go in the description below, click that poll right now, and pick that one character that has to be in the next game. Whether it be Xenoverse 2 or whatever the next Dragon Ball game is, you have to pick one. Everybody vote. And then what you have to do is tell a friend or two to vote as well. Because what I'm going to do is, I'm going to send this list to Bandai and have them forward to all the right people up in Japan to make sure that they understand that these characters need to be in the game. Because obviously when Xenoverse came out, I myself was disappointed that someone like Janemba wasn't in the game. Someone like Gogeta, or Super Gogeta, wasn't in the game. Obviously, they had Super Saiyan 4, but essentially, this is a chance to kind of show them what we as fans want. Now, also in that list, I included characters' transformations that were missing in games like Xenoverse, as well as previous games. So, like stuff like Second Form Frieza, Imperfect Cell, stuff like that as well. So, this is your chance to vote. So, comment section below, in the description below, click that link, vote, pass it out to all your friends. And if this video gets 100,000 views, there needs to be 100,000 votes. Because if you guys don't send feedback, then you can't be mad when the next game comes out and there's missing characters. So this is, like I said previously in the past, this is our chance as a community to stand together and tell Bandai what we want in our games. So what I decided to do in this video is, I'm going to tell you my 3, which is kind of unfair because you guys get 1, but I get 3. In my video, I'm going to give you guys 3 characters that I want to see in the next game. And I also brought Danny. Hi, Danny.
Hello.
I brought Danny here as well to tell you his 3 characters that he wants to see in the future of the game. So without further ado, how about we start with Danny? Danny, what are your 3 characters and why?
All right, so I'm looking at the list right now. I got it pulled up. And first off, I'm pretty sure...
Wait, before you start. There's probably a couple characters in there that I forgot, in which case, I'm sorry. But I just kind of try to include everybody that was very popular in the past that has been kind of absent in the game. So if there's anyone that I missed, I'm sorry. Comment it below, and then I will try to include that in my feedback. But for now, you have to vote from these 30, because I was only limited to 30 slots in the poll. But go ahead, Denny.
So what I was going to say is, first off, picking one of these characters is pretty much impossible. So thanks a lot, Dino, for giving everyone an impossible task. Even picking 3 is difficult enough. But the way that I kind of narrowed it down, because I'm reading through these, just looking at the list and seeing kind of what's on here, and the way that I basically narrowed it down is if a character is kind of meaningless to me, then I would knock them off the list if they weren't too important to any other storyline, or if we did have some semblance of them in the game already. So Xenoverse being the most recent game, that's kind of what I based it on. So just to give you some examples of how I narrowed some stuff down, the androids that we didn't get, like 16, 19, I think 13's on here somewhere. Those characters, they're cool, but they're not really necessary for the game. I mean, some people probably really like them. They're fun to play with, but if they gotta go, they gotta go. And then characters like Super Gogeta, again, really awesome, super cool character. But we did have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta in the game, so he's already got, kind of his representation in there. I'm a huge fan of Cell. I like all forms of Cell, but again, we had Perfect Cell, we had Super Perfect Cell. We basically had the cells that most people would probably play with at the end of the day anyway, and that's just kind of how I went down the list here. So even as a character that's my favorite character in the entire show, Vegeta, I nixed Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Majin Vegeta because, Majin Vegeta, that's one of the most epic parts of the show. He's one of the most awesome characters, but he was already represented in the game by a bunch of different forms. He even got his new Super Saiyan Blue form.
Right.
And we don't even know what's to come in the future yet. He might get some more stuff that's going to be in the game. So I think that he was represented pretty well. The ones that were really, really hard for me to cut the list were some that I really enjoyed, which was Metacooler, because I've always had fun playing with Metacooler in the past.
God, the memories of Tenkaichi 3.
Metacooler in Tenkaichi 3 was one of those characters that was just a pain to deal with. He was super fun to play with, not so fun to play against. And then the other two that I kind of struggled with cutting off the list were Pycon. I've always been a huge fan of Pycon. I think he's super fun to play with. His speed, I really liked him in the show and things like that, so that he was kind of a difficult cut to make. And then Super Janemba, when he's in like his, the Super Janemba form, not the giant form, also really fun to play with, and one of the really cool characters that I kind of wished got a little bit more in terms of the show and things like that. But those were the hardest ones for me to cut from the list. There were some straight up useless ones on it, like Garlic Jr. I mean, like, he's cool. And just to preface all this, I'm one of the people that actually believes that I want as big as the roster can possibly be. I mean, in an ideal world, that's what I want. There's some people out there that just want like a slimmed down, trimmed list of the best characters, the best fighters. And that's what they want. I'm on the opposite side of that. I want every single character ever. So, if it was between having everyone and not, then obviously I would want Garlic Jr. in there. But in terms of like, if I got to take people off the list, he's gone. That doesn't even matter.
Right.
So the three that I'm going to go with are actually, they're all from Super because we've never got to play with them before. And I know that this doesn't really count, but, and I guess I'll just say the three. What?
It counts. No, it definitely counts.
Yeah, no, it counts. But, so the three that I would pick that I want to see in the next game would be Hit, obviously, Champa, and Kaba, which are they're from Super, they're awesome, and I think part of the reason why I would be so amped to have them in the game, one, because they're awesome characters, and two, just even playing with the Hit mod, which if you haven't seen that, there's several videos up on my channel of playing with the Hit mod in Xenoverse. And it's amazing. It's so much fun. Like, he's a super fun character to play with, and that's just using the moves that are in Xenoverse to try to make it as close to Hit as possible. If he was actually like coded in the game with his abilities and everything, like, that would be amazing. And then I think Champa would be, he's necessary because he's the counterpart to Beerus, and like their relationship in the show, that I love it. Like, that's fantastic, the way that they work back and forth off of each other. So I feel like he is necessary. And then Kaba, of course, who is the new Saiyan. And I think the reason that I want him to be in it is because it's so mysterious. Like, I want to know, and we might get this from the show, but like, I want to know more about him and his abilities and how he was trained and kind of what happened in his past and like where it's going in the future. And so I think he's the character that I'm most curious about right now. And so I think that's why he takes the third spot on the list.
That's actually interesting that you chose a Saiyan for the third option. Now, for my list, first of all, by the way, also for Champa, it'd be cool if they do have Champa in the next game, which they need to have. If Xenoverse 2 is the next game, I would love to have Champa as a mentor. That'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing. But with me, it's... I have one that's the same, and that's Hit. I definitely want Hit in the next game just because, again, after watching that finale, I'm still hyped. My blood and my heart is still pumping after watching that finale. Absolutely incredible. And with his moveset, and depending on how they can actually program his ability, he has to be the next game. If there's one person from Universe 6, it has to be Hit. Now, for my other two... we're going to go ahead and take a trip to the past. My second option, and again, just like with you, it was really tough to choose. And the reason why I did a poll for one character is because if I did a poll that allowed you to vote multiple times and have multiple options, everyone's going to want everybody. And again, that's not the case
everyone
here.
Like this, all of them.
Yeah, in this situation, we probably won't get... I mean, who knows? We could get all of them, for all we know. But if you could only pick one, who is that one character that needs to be in the next game? Vote. And like I said, I'm going to send it to Bandai and see if I can help influence, to return some characters. Because again, I want a lot of these characters to be in the game. I want them to come back, and this is my list. Now, my second one is going to be Janemba. And only because, number one, Janemba's a badass. I love his character, and just like what you said, Danny, he unfortunately got very little screen time. But that little screen time he had was epic. And being able to teleport around the screen and a potential you can do with his ultimate moves and his super moves, absolutely incredible. Like, think about all the escape moves you can do with Janemba, like the whole dimensional travel and stuff like that, and like his ultimates. I feel like Janemba could be a very flashy character. And on top of that, he has a sword. I mean, who here does not like sword? Badass. It's
Which was always weird. That was like the one element. I'm a person who loves swords, and I think swords are really cool, and I think they're cool in the show. But I was always wondering in the back of my mind, I'm like, why do you have a sword? Like, everyone in the show is more powerful than a sword, like, so it was just kind of like, this is weird.
Well, Piccolo has his clothes beam, but this man Janemba picked up a little club, was like, oh, I'm gonna turn to the sword, and then magically he turns to the sword, which they never explained. But again, whatever. It was just meant to be one of those extra elements in the series. Either way, I love Janemba. He's one of my favorite villains, and I really hope they show him in the next game. Because on top of that, can you imagine the side story or the main campaign quest you can get around fighting Janemba? incredibly epic. Imagine like evil villainous Janemba. Awesome. Like I would love that in Xenoverse 2 if that's the next game. Now for my third option, this is a tough one. My third option was between Super Gogeta and Majin Vegeta. Now I ended up going with Majin Vegeta only because, like what you said, we got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, which is not Super Gogeta, but it's still Gogeta. I'll take that because essentially Super Gogeta and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta won't be that much different in terms of what the moves are, and I don't know how they can pull off Stardust Breaker that well with the Xenoverse 2 mechanics. Like that attack needs to be more cutscene-esque, like we saw in previous games. So I don't know how that would work in a Xenoverse 2 settings if that's the next game, of course. So I ended up going with Majin Vegeta only because his moveset would be absolutely incredible. I want Atomic Blast in the game. I want Final Explosion in the game. On top of that, just like the fury that is Majin Vegeta, he is by far one of my most favorite transformations, or I guess favorite forms of Vegeta in the series so far. It's just, also imagine that cutscene if they do something like that where they show him blowing up against somebody. I would love to see
it would be
like
cool.
That.
It could be a cool idea to have like a cinematic finish. Like if you kill the character with that move, and it does like the full on like cinematic. Yeah. That would be really cool.
Yeah, dude, that'd be actually a good thing to do. Because I remember in previous games they had a cinematic, well, not a complete cinematic finish, but they had something cinematic. In which case, like, remember in Budokai Tenkaichi 3 when you would do an ultimate attack, when it was like a massive one, it would completely leave the screen without the character because like you actually disintegrated.
They would just get annihilated.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they do something like that. So it'd be cool to like have ultimate finishes in the game where like they actually, you know, show the explosion, show the ultimate death. Like that would be cool in the next game. Actually, Bandai, if you're watching this video for some reason, do that. Do this. So
I think,
yeah.
Sorry, I just had one more point. I was thinking about this while you were talking for Majin Vegeta because again, that was one of the ones that was hard for me to cut because he's one of my favorite characters.
Right.
The way that I looked at this was if all of the same characters that were in Xenoverse are getting transitioned into Xenoverse 2, and these are on top of it. So that's kind of how I was thinking about it.
Yes.
If I had it my way, then I don't know off the top of my head how many different versions of Vegeta were in Xenoverse.
A lot.
But probably like 6 or 7. We could nix one of those middle ones that's kind of like barely a transition phase and pop Majin Vegeta in there. Like I feel like that's the solution to that problem.
Ultimately, the main reason why I want Majin Vegeta is because he has a different moveset. I mean, the other Vegetas essentially had the same moves, but Majin Vegeta had a vastly different moveset because he has, like I said, he has Atomic Blast, the attack that he shot Majin Buu with in the belly. He has Final Explosion and stuff like that. And then Janemba, same thing. He can be flashy, he can move differently, he has his teleportations. He could be an epic character in the game. So, for me, hit Majin Vegeta and Janemba. Now, for you guys, again, this is very, very important because, like I said, Bandai listens to all our feedback. So, in the description below, there's a link. Click that link, vote, pass it around to all your friends. Everybody can only vote once. That's the painful part. I included a lot of crappy characters in there as well, because if I didn't, there's gonna be that one person that's gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe you forgot Dr. Giro, because I like Dr. Giro. Said no one ever. No, I'm just kidding. If you like Giro, it is what it is. But I try to include a lot of the big characters that haven't been present in the past couple games. So obviously I missed a couple. I don't have the Dragon Ball characters on there because I remember a while back when they were making Xenoverse 1, they mentioned the reason why they didn't include Dragon Ball, original Dragon Ball, is because the characters have different speeds and it sounded like a cop-out answer to be honest, but they talked about how most of them can't fly, on top of that they're very, very slow, so to them, to match them up against like the godly characters in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super would be kind of unfair. So for now, I only included Dragon Ball Z characters and beyond. So
and yet Hercule's in the game.
And then Hercule's in the game, I know. With that said, vote right now in the description below. Pass to your friends, tweet it, Facebook it. Make your own videos if you want. I don't care. But I am going to send this poll to Bandai sometime soon. Well, sometime in the next future. And hopefully they'll listen. Because in the next game, I want Janemba, I want Hit, I want Majin Vegeta, and I'm sure there's somebody that you want in the game as well, so this is your chance to kind of speak out. So do that. Danny, is there anything else?
Nah, you good.
Nah, you good. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like rating below. Any other questions, comments, feedback. If you want to express which character you voted for, to comment below as well. Because obviously, if you just vote, we can't see what you guys voted for. So comment below what you voted as well. And then any other things you want to talk about for the next game as well, feel free to just use the comment section below as a forum. But other than that, I guess subscribe to Danny because he's trying to get to 40K by the end of May. And that's but actually by April, right?
End of April, yeah, we close.
We close. Well, let's get into...
We only like 200 away right now.
Let's break that. Let's get to 50K by this summer. How about that? That's a challenge I have for the Dragon Ball community because Danny makes awesome content, so go do that.
Hey.
But other than that, I guess we'll see you guys in the comment section below.
Bye.